back. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
Doing the garden, digging the weeds. Who could ask for more? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
You know, when that song first came out, the Beatles and When I'm 64, I thought, wow, 64 is seriously ancient. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, boomers are, 64 and more these days, and suddenly it's not about really old people anymore, is it? It's kind of a cute little song. So there we are. It's retirement living we're talking about on Boomer Life today. Our friends from Crofton Manor and Revera Retirement Living are Irish Webb, who is a lifestyle consultant, and Andrew Ebbers, who is Director of Recreation at Crofton Manor on the west side of Vancouver at 2803 West 41st Avenue and online at reveraliving.com. What kind of community is Crofton Manor Irish? It's the terminology. As we here on Boomer Life attempt to allow more and more boomers to develop an appreciation for retirement living, there's a whole new language we have to learn.
Absolutely.
And so some communities describe themselves as having certain levels of care, the most basic of which appears to be independent living. Is Crofton Manor an independent living community?
We have a number of areas to Crofton Manor. So we have one side to Crofton Manor that is a completely independent living environment.
Okay.
So in independent living, you have your own apartments, you have recreation and meals, and if, for example, someone needed a little bit of support, a little bit of care, on the independent living side, you can bring in, for example, maybe a care aide, something along those lines, if you require a little bit of assistance.
Okay.
And we also have a whole other part to Crofton Manor that is supportive living, and that's where we have care plans for each individual in the supported living area.
Okay.
So we have a number of areas to Crofton.
I'm just curious because, Andrew, what you were saying in a retirement community environment, would your grandmother be moved into one? Would she consent to be moving into one? She wouldn't have your dad guessing as to what the meds would be. As you said, and I'm quoting, we have people who can take care of those details accurately. So what level of care do those caregivers represent at Crofton Manor?
So they do a lot of, they do just under dementia care. So we do have some people with dementia, but mostly we do everything else. So we have this program called Live Well.
Okay.
And that Live Well program, we can do an assessment on the individual. And then it's a checklist of all the things that they need in a day to have taken care of for them. So, for example, peri-care. So that's like taking bathroom care, taking care of their bathroom stuff. So if they need that, then that's a little check mark on our little list.
Okay.
And it helps us understand more about the residents themselves and also about what we can provide for them.
Right, and is part of that assessment, it sounds like it's fairly extensive. It's a well-developed program. I've heard of Live Well before, but back to your office, Irish, if you don't mind, for that initial meeting, somehow or another, you and your mind are also trying to ask questions, I'm sure, that would give you an idea of how this person or where this person might fit in should he or she decide to become a resident, right? The assessment essentially begins right from the get-go, doesn't it?
A lot of the conversations take place in my office as to, what is someone needing help with? What prompted them to sort of come in? Those types of questions.
Right.
When it comes to an assessment, our Director of Health and Wellness actually does the assessment in a number of areas to really determine.
You would know probably right from the beginning of a conversation whether someone would, as Andrew said, maybe need a little bit of extra care, a little assistance with meds maybe, or putting on the socks and shoes in the morning. That's not a tremendous burden, and yet without that little bit of extra assistance, life can be difficult. So would that person live in an independent living environment but receive some occasional assistance? Would that how be that would likely shake out?
Yeah, likely. It does seem that would be somewhere in the middle of that. Like living in independent, perhaps someone, if they just require a little bit of assistance, maybe getting dressed in the morning, or assistance going to the dining room, something along those lines, they may bring some care in to assist with that.
Okay. Talk to us about food, Andrew, because food is a very, very important component of all of our lives. And one of the reasons that many of us boomers look at as a reason for perhaps changing our thinking about whether mom or dad needs to move to a seniors community is when we notice their eating habits falling dramatically in many cases, especially if you're by yourself. I mean, cooking for one, come on. How much fun can that be? So, it's tea and toast again. So when we make that commitment and understand that, this is serious. We're now starting to see some health erosion because of poor nutritional habits. So talk to us about what the food is like at Crofton Manor and how it's all done up.
Okay, so we're actually pretty lucky. So Irish and we get to eat lunches there.
We do.
And it is...
You should see the smiles on these two. Obviously, the food's pretty good.
It's amazing. We're quite lucky. So we have chefs on hand. We have multiple chefs. And every day it's something different. So there's always some delicious kind of food, and it's all set up by a dietitian who we also have on staff.
Okay.
So if everyone's health is taken care of, there's Heart Smart, and it provides them with choice. Like there's a whole bunch of different aspects just in one meal. So for example, a few days ago we had these crepes, right? And inside the crepes there was like seafood and a cream sauce and some vegetables on the side and a little salad and some fruit salad and a dessert. Like almost all the calories you'd need for an entire day provided right there for you at lunch. And then there was also other options. So they had like a tuna fish sandwich, and if you want anything to be made, we provide that choice as well. So we have a list of alternate choice items. You can just ask. We'll make those your things. Say you don't want to have the crepe today, no problem. We'll make you an omelet. Sound good?
Oh, okay.
It's just fantastic.
So there's lots of flexibility there.
There is.
Okay. And what do people tell you? Now, I'm curious, when someone comes in and has a chat with you, and now it's time to take it to the next step. I've had a chat, maybe brought my sister with me, and we're going to sit down and find out the facts about living at Crofton Manor. So we're satisfied now. We have some basic information, and we got a brochure or something, and of course the website. So we go home and we approach mom with this whole thing. And we know, first of all, mom's not going to be real happy about it because she's lived in the same house since 1971. It's been paid for 25 years. And even though she doesn't get out and see people much, doesn't do much of anything anymore, it's the security of that familiar environment that is more comforting than any other deprivation that may be going on. That's the key, isn't it? Is trying to get someone to see past the comforts, the immediate comforts of the old place, and not be too afraid to try something new. So when boomers come to your office and sit down and they get all this information, and then they go back, and the next time around they're going to bring mom or dad with them.
Right.
Do you recommend when that second visit occurs that they stay for lunch?
They absolutely can. I usually just ask them, actually, what do they feel would be the best introduction, because they know their parents the best. So what do they feel? Would it be a discussion in office, a tour? Would they like to come to a social event, perhaps, if they don't want to, just have a meeting in an office right away, or would they enjoy a meal in the dining room? So I usually ask them what their parents like and what they feel would be the easiest, nicest way for them to be introduced to our community.
Okay. And do they have trial stays? Can you come in
Absolutely.
and get somebody kind of jazzed up a little bit? This could work. This could work. And then well, why don't you come in and stay with us for a few days and see get a real feel for what it's like?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We do. Yes.
And what's a typical trial stay length?
Anywhere from 3 days to a week.
Okay. So get a good taste of it. Now, popping in for lunch, nothing wrong with that, especially the way you describe lunch.
Yeah,
but
we're spoiled.
Ideally, though, the idea is, though, to really give it a good workout, give it a good fair shake, so to speak, right?
That's right. And then that way they get to try a number of different food items over, 3
Sure.
days to a week. Also, they can really start to connect with some of the other residents and start building those relationships.
Okay. Andrew, do people come and see you when they go on these preliminary tours, these investigative, gosh, I wonder what it would be like to live here, instead of just kind of walking around looking at the place? Do people come by your station and say hello?
Actually, we go out to them.
Okay.
We want to go see them and see what they want to do.
All right.
Because we're interested and we want them to have the best experience they can when they're on for a respite stay.
Okay.
Yeah, we have like a whole bunch of really unique programs that we can just invite people to. And so we have entertainers. So starting in February, we'll have entertainers every single day for the whole month, which is intense. And then we also have staffing for 8 hours a day. So we have tons of different like intellectual programs and things like that that are available for the residents. And we just invite them to come to them.
And there's something on a list, and I saw it, and I'm probably not even going to pronounce it properly, but it's some kind of a brain stimulation program. Is it DACM or DICM?
It's DACM.
DACM, okay.
So DACM's actually an excellent program. So it uses things that people would remember from their past. So starting at about like, some of our residents are pretty old. So from 1846 to all the way to 1948, it has all of these different questions and information to help you remember things.
Right.
It also has programs to help you with spatial awareness. And it also has other programs that help you with mathematics or remembering small details. It's actually quite a great program. I've actually sat with a couple of residents and done it. And some of it's really, really tough. But the people who use it the most often are usually the people who are the most clear on a day-to-day basis. We even had one resident who went from a lower level functioning to actually a higher level functioning using that program on a daily basis.
Well, and again, so it's this is one thing that more and more people are discovering as they continue to research seniors. And yes, it's important. Nutrition is critical. Good health overall is of course absolutely fundamental. But part of overall health and wellness is brain health in addition to the body health. If you're physically stimulated, chances are you're going to want to be intellectually stimulated, and it didn't used to be something that happened in seniors' environments, Andrew. You feed them and that's it, that's it. And now with the changes that have come to the retirement industry across Canada, that's really an antiquated way of doing things, and it's really the focus about intellectual stimulation is quite high these days.
Yeah, so I've been to a few facilities in the past, and I've seen some pretty basic things. People just playing bingo, playing cards,
Sure.
just doing something basic. At Crofton, we try not to do that. What we try to do is we try to ask them what they need. And then every month we have a recreation planning meeting. We started because of the residents asked. We have this program called Manor University. And what it is they're lectures on DVD by Rhodes College professors.
Okay.
And Princeton, wherever it came from. And they give a topic, and we have that topic run just like it's a university course. We run it for a whole, however long the program is. We have one right now on Eastern civilization. Most popular program, 9 to 10 residents show up for that. And every week they're there. And if we're not on time for that program, we know.
Oh, okay.
We know because they love it so much. They just want to be there and learn about it. And just because people are getting older doesn't mean that they don't want to have intellectual stimulation anymore. In fact, they want it more.
I couldn't agree with you more. And so this is a lecture series that the folks at Crofton Manor they can easily access.
Yeah, absolutely. And they ask for new programs. So our next set of programs, we're going to be bringing in some things about Scottish history, Scottish castles, and we're also bringing in information about science, and one of the ones we wanted to do was physics, and so we're bringing that in as well, and all by recommendations from the residents.
Well, see, this is also a fun part about doing this program and bursting some of those myth bubbles, because again, this one sort of goes back to micromanaging all my time, and you sort of dispelled that one very quickly, Andrew, by saying, well, first and foremost, at Crofton Manor, it's really all about choice. That's the operative word. If you don't want to do this, then don't. Nobody's going to force you to do anything.
Absolutely. We advertise, we let people know what's going on. We try to encourage them if they want to go. But other than that, we just say, we have this list of the things that you told us that you want to do. Just to let you know, they're there.
Right.
So you can come do them if you want to.
But the encouraging part, I guess, from a staff point of view for you two, is the fact that these people don't want to just sit around twiddling their thumbs. They want to do things, and they're very forthcoming in their recommendations, and they go to the meetings and participate vigorously. And why don't we do some more of this and try that next year? And so that energy is what keeps the wheels turning, right?
Absolutely.
We'll take a quick break here, and we'll come back with our guests, Irish Webb and Andrew Ebbers. From Crofton Manor, we're talking retirement living with our guests from Revera Retirement Living, online, by the way, at reveraliving.com. Back with more after this.
Canada's only weekly radio show dedicated to the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CIL 650.